In 1996, Jay-Z risked his life and his freedom to drop Reasonable Doubt because corporate entities wanted to control his art. So he did it himself. In 2026, you can buy the exact same Rebellion on white vinyl for $40 in Target, sitting right next to the patio furniture. Yo, the album that taught an entire generation how to bypass institutions, maintain your self-sovereignty, is now exclusively in retail rollout. But this ain't just about getting a bag. It's about why a corporation with the bullseye needs Jay-Z's cultural capital in order to do business. See, Target right now is facing a massive boycott from black consumers over its aggressive pullback from DEI commitments. We'll get into that later. And right on cue, the world's most powerful hip-hop billionaire steps in to hand Target a heritage feel-good moment. Your boy, Jay-Z isn't just selling a classic hip-hop moment, he's selling an insurance policy. You know, like Olivia Pope in Scandal. He's a fixer. What's he fixing? But by putting his stamp on that store, he's quietly signaling to the culture, the pressure's over. It's safe to come back through those doors. Today we gotta look past the nostalgia and analyze the playbook and ask ourselves a hard question. Did black capitalism really buy back the block, or did we just put in our own set of corporate shields to run the same old game they've been running? Before the end of this video, I'm gonna give you my verdict. I'm gonna break down how Target used Jay-Z to shield themselves from you. And also, the trickery that's in it all, because Jay-Z ain't the only one running game. All right, so let's talk about this Target deal that Jay-Z agreed to. In fact, I think it's more than just agreed to. Jay-Z, I think he structured this himself because it's a massive win for Jay-Z. It's a win for Target, don't get it twisted. But yeah, Jay-Z benefits a whole lot from this. So we know it's the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt. So the deal is that he's gonna put that album, if you wanna buy that album, you gotta go into the store, buy the vinyl. It's $40. You gotta physically go in the store and buy it. I guess you could buy it online. Yeah, you don't have to go in the store, but you gotta buy it from Target. It's an exclusive deal with Target. Why is this a big deal? Well, because you can only get it at Target. They got exclusive rights. Now, I don't know how long that lasts, but that's a hell of a deal because this album is culturally significant to hip-hop heads. Now, if you're Gen X like me, you kind of grew up on Jay-Z. Grew up on Biggie, you grew up on Tupac, you grew up on Jay-Z, all right? And this is a crowning achievement for that moment in time. If you're an older millennial, you may feel the same way. You grew up on Jay-Z, listening to Jay-Z music in your formative years as you were becoming an adult. And what better way to kind of cap that off than have a literal piece, a tangible piece of history sitting on your table, in your library, or sitting on your heavy-ass credenza that you got from your mom's house or your grandma's house. That big piece of furniture, nobody wanted to help carry the move with the cabinets, right? You put that Jay-Z album there, the cover. It's real, it's tangible, it's life. It's not digital. And in the world of digital items, this stands above them. So that's why this is significant, because it's real. You can touch it. It's history. Now here goes the kick in the ass. Back in 1996, when Dame Dash and Jay-Z were friends and they formed Rockefeller Records, none of the major labels wanted to sign Jay-Z. They all told him to kick rocks. Hard Knock Life. Yeah, he had a literal hard knock life trying to get his record out. So what they did was they put it out themselves. They said, we want to control it then. Let's take control of this. Let's build it out. Let's market it. Let's do the whole thing. And now look at us, 30 years later. The album that could not be sold by a major label is now in a major retailer. Exclusive deal. If that ain't going for a circle, what is? Some people call it selling out, but I call it as Jay-Z buying in. And I don't know why people shocked that he buying in, because the man brought in already. He's a billionaire. You don't become a billionaire without buying in. In fact, I say you don't become a very high up multimillionaire without buying in. Jay-Z's already bought in. But if you think this is just about selling a piece of plastic, you are missing the boat. In fact, fam, this ain't the first time that Jay-Z has done this. He gave you the blueprint to how he operates back in 2019. Remember when he chose corporations over the people back then? Colin Kaepernick, ring a bell? Let's go back to 2019 when the NFL was facing heat similar to Target. Black community was pissed off at police brutality. They had Colin Kaepernick as their spokesperson. Kind of organically became that. And they were making demands of the NFL. There was the whole kneeling. It was a demonstration. They wanted the NFL to be a part of it. They were using, Colin Kaepernick was using his platform as a quarterback in the NFL to get the word out. And the NFL said no. The NFL did a matambo. No, 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 not in my house. There was intense backlash on that because the black community is a big-time purchaser, consumer of NFL merchandise, a big-time watcher of the games. In came Jay-Z. Jay-Z steps in. He signs a massive deal. He says, look, we passed kneeling. That signal to the culture that, oh, Jay-Z, one of our famed icons of hip-hop, came to symbolize independence. Big time, him and his wife, big time in there with the Obamas. And it had a certain level of cachet. You're thinking, okay, this is going to turn into something great for us. And what it turned into is something great for Jay-Z. Yeah, great opportunity for Jay-Z to become a billionaire. That's what it was. Jay-Z's presence immediately shifted the narrative away from kneeling, away from boycotting the NFL, to let's work with the NFL, and the NFL is going to be our partner. And then suddenly all that talk went away, and all that was left was Jay-Z making dollars. Overnight almost. The NFL went from being labeled as being anti-black to being applauded for showcasing Shakira, Dr. Dre, J-Lo, Eminem, Beyonce. Oh, Rihanna was there. Yeah, all of a sudden, he cleaned him up. Got him suited and booted. Jay-Z provided the NFL with a multi-billion-dollar stamp of approval, cultural insurance policy. And all they had to do was keep working with him. Did it work? Did it work? The NFL playbook worked so well that it became a cultural, corporational blueprint, which brings us back today to the red bullseye. So you may ask, why does Target need to partner with Jay-Z? What can they get out of this Jay-Z reasonable doubt combination corporation partnership? Well, for one, it gets you not looking at their books for 2025. That's for damn sure. All of a sudden, you're not talking about DI, diversity, equity, income, inequality. You're talking about Jay-Z's album and how he's partnering now with Jay-Z. It gives you a reason to doubt just how bad things may be. But look, we're going to look beneath the hood and see what's good. What's under there, Target? How'd you do? How'd the numbers come out? Okay, so in the last 18 months following the shifting of political tides, which would be Trump coming in and Biden going out, they rolled back the DEI initiatives. They saw the way the wind was blowing, and they decided they were going to go with the wind. And they decided this was good for business. This right here. So when Target rolled back these DEI programs, this triggered a massive boycott of black so-called leaders. Some that I rock with, so I rock with Nina Turner. But yeah. Jamal Bryant had a flavor. I heard talk that there was another lady up there in Minnesota, had her own thing going, or maybe she was a part of it too. Then Al Sharpton, I thought he was, I don't know. You know what? I'm not getting to the middle of who did what first. let's just say there was black Americans, some black Americans, and some organizations did a boycott. The boycott ended just recently here in 2026, but there's several groups that are still boycotting because they're still upset about those initiatives that never came back from Target. See, right as Target is facing major pushback from the black community, in comes Jay-Z to do what he does best, break the tension. Act as a permission structure for people to come back into the store. Don't get it wrong. A lot of people never stopped shopping at Target. But for those that did, yeah, they kind of left a dent. So Jay-Z's playing the game. Or is he? Yeah, it is definitely a game. Now, I told you at the end of the video I was going to give you my verdict on this whole thing. But I want you to know my verdict is going to be pretty nuanced because we got to look at everything here in totality. First of all, yes, Jay-Z created the permission structure for people to come back. And I'm sure there are going to be people from the boycott campaigns very pissed off that Jay-Z even intervened, that he stepped in the middle of this. But he saw a play. He saw how he can make himself useful to the corporation and how that could benefit him. So he did it. He pulled the trigger. Does that make him a sellout? Yes and no. See, to be a sellout, Jay-Z would have to have been on your side to begin with. And based on everything that I've seen from Jay-Z, Jay-Z has always been on one person's side, and that's Jay-Z. See, in order for somebody to sell you out, they'd have to sell you in first. They'd have to buy you in. They'd have to buy into the community aspect. And Jay-Z has never shown himself to be all on that. He's a businessman. He's been a businessman. It is us. We got to take a responsibility of ourselves and say, why do we keep thinking this guy's riding for us? When obviously he's riding for him. But deeper than that, because even that, I feel like that's too simple. See, here's the thing. All of this has been a scam. Yeah, the whole thing's a scam, fam. Not just Jay-Z. He's just the guy to point at and call him the boogeyman. But you also got to point at the boycott itself. Family, I have seen no evidence that this boycott was truly necessary. I mean, when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, we're not talking about just black Americans not going to Target. We're not just talking about black Americans. Diversity means diverse. Now, if we had a black boycott for black Americans, then that'd be a different story. But see, black Americans were already making big money in Target. In fact, black small businesses suffered during this boycott to help everybody. When we talk about everybody, we talk about diversity. We helping Latinos, Native Americans, Asians, veterans, differently able people. Anybody that's considered diverse, and anybody that's considered diverse, white women, LGBTQ folks of all colors, pretty much anybody that's not white, male, and straight. And you could be white, male, straight, and be a veteran, and this would include you. So it's like everybody. So basically what we did was we went from looking out for our own black interests to looking out for everybody else's interest. Jay-Z sold out the whole country, but did he? Because if everybody's included, and if everybody's going to get a bump, then nobody gets a bump. And some black businesses took a bump during this boycott because sales went down. And if sales go down, guess what some of the items that are not being sold? Black businesses items. Did I need to say it that hard? I need to say it that hard. A lot of black businesses, they suffered during the boycott. They were doing just fine before the boycott. Even with DEI rolled back. If business kept up, people kept going in Target, they kept buying their stuff. So two things can be right at the same time. One can be, yeah, Jay-Z looked out for Jay-Z. The other thing could be, this DEI boycott was never what they said it was cracked up to be. And it's reasonable to doubt that the boycott was serving us well to begin with. So the final irony of the Reasonable Doubt album, and after 30 years, is that Jay-Z didn't buy back the block. The Boardroom brought Jay-Z in to shield them from the block, to block them from the block, to block them from the streets. Black Americans need to stop being the mule of the Democratic Party, running whatever this is type of plays that don't benefit us first. Stop looking to our business leaders in the black community to do much more than do business for themselves. He told you this back in the 90s. Jay-Z is just a businessman, and he's just doing business, man. That's enough.
Catch Tim Black live on the most dangerous show in America, Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. Don't miss out on the real. Stay dangerous.